My name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, last week when we got together, we talked about the fact that only minds communicate. Only minds communicate. Because we usually think, well, bodies communicate. We got body language and we got all kinds of stuff that indicate that the body is doing the communication. And the body is a facade on top of the fact only minds communicate. So this week we're going to change direction a little bit, and this is going to take a couple of sessions, a couple of videos. So I'll put together a playlist of the different videos associated with how to create memories. And then later on, maybe we'll talk about how to change memories. Because all there is in the past are your created memories. So we're going to talk about how you do that. Now here in our little diagram, which I already started, on the top we have perception and interpretation. And sometimes there's confusion between the two. So we're going to talk about that too. So there's a lot of little individual pieces. Oh, by the way, I'm having some Earl Grey tea. Now, when I talk about the tea lady at the Eastern Market, some of you may not know where that is, and that's in downtown Detroit. So if you get down there in downtown Detroit at the Eastern Market on any Saturday, it's a whole bunch of fun. Now you can see I have an unusual model, and I won't get through it all in this video. So I want you to look at the big circle and notice that it's a very thin circle that represents the body. You see, the body is a protection source for everything that's going on within it. And within the body, I don't know if you ever recognize that, there's no holes. There's no space. That something isn't going on. Either there's organs or nerves or blood or something. There's not many spaces, even in your stomach or digestive tract. So everything is kind of filled up. Now outside, going through the body are your antenna that searches the outside environment for information. And so we are well aware of these, and there's 5 of them. And they're the eyes, a nose, smelling, taste, your taste buds in your tongue in the back of your mouth. There is hearing, which is associated with the ears, and there's touch, which is associated with a lot of things, but mainly with your hands, that they touch stuff and you get information. Now here's the thing I want you to be aware of. Where's the information go? Where does the information go? I picked up a little sniffle, and so every once in a while I have to take care of that. Now, where does the information go? Now you see, I drew it through the antenna, through the body. You know why? None of the outside information goes directly to the body. Now I got to say that again, because most people believe, well, no, I smell stuff in my nose. No, you don't. Well, I see stuff in my eyes. No, you don't. Well, what about my hearing? Don't I hear stuff from the outside? No. And touch, same way. Taste, same way. All of that information is just raw data and is useless to the body. Useless. Cannot be used. So, how come? Because we say, well, I see things. We talked about this in another video a little bit ago, and I'll try to reference it. But none of your senses do anything that you think they do. Unfortunately. And some of you, and hearing that, might say, well, I'm going to turn this channel off. That guy's nuts. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I know when I see things. I know when I hear things. I know when I touch things. No, you don't. And that's the illusion that we're talking about right now. Information coming from your senses is just raw data. Now, my first book goes into explanation on that, but it's just raw data. And you that are into statistics, what do you have to do with raw data to make it meaningful? But that's what you got. You got meaningless information until you interpret the data, until you run it through your logarithm and determine what the data means. Now, when you know what the data means, you can take certain steps. But the raw data doesn't do you any good at all. So what's your logarithm inside your body, which is always full, that determines how meaningful the data from your senses are? What is that? Your past. Your experiences from the past determine how you will interpret the current situation. The outside information, the body can't use any of it. Not one thing until it's interpreted. And then when it's interpreted, and then we have a causation, we can make steps to change stuff. But it needs to be interpreted. Now, where do you do that? You do that inside of here. And again, what do you need to interpret that? Your memories of past experiences. And from that, you cherry pick. I like that word, cherry pick. You cherry pick the information that is suitable for you. And that's what you make your interpretation out of. Now, when you make the interpretation, now we have perception. So you have this information from the outside, you bring it inside, and I'll expand this model in the next video. You bring it inside, and then you project your interpretation outside. So you get the information, in this case from your eyes, you interpret the information, you project what you interpret outside. By the way, what's outside again? Everything. Everything. So you lay on this everything your interpretation of the meaningless data that you have now brought meaning to through your past experiences. And you project it out here, and you know what you say? I perceive. I perceive a lamp. I perceive a camera. I perceive a whiteboard. These are all interpretations of data. We're in an illusion, and you are not aware of it. We are in an illusion, and the egoic world is so magnificent that you'll never know it until you begin to change your vision. Not your seeing, not your eyes, but your inner vision. Now, A Course in Miracles speaks to this issue, particularly about interpretation and perception. And so it says, and you can look it up in the description, video description. There has been much confusion about perception's meaning because the word is used for both awareness and for the interpretation of awareness. Yet, you cannot be aware. You cannot be aware what's going on out here without interpreting. That information. For what you perceive is your interpretation. What you perceive, you don't perceive anything out here in the outside energy system until you create it, until you interpret it inside. Then you project it. Part of the illusion. Nothing is what you think it is in the illusion. So, give that some thought. I know it's off the wall for many people, but this is an illusion. Now, what's the advantage of recognizing that? You can change it. Why would you change it? To be happy. Happiness, for me, is the goal of being here. If you're not happy, you're doing something wrong. So be good to yourself, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time we get together here in this illusion. Bye now.